Well, good afternoon, everybody, and thank you for joining us for this session. Today, we're going to be talking about managing spatial assets. We're going to talk about that in the context of some of your asset maintenance processes. So if you work in an asset-intensive industry, you might be in utilities, or maybe you work for a council or something like that, you should find today's topic very interesting indeed. Now, I'm joined by a couple of special people in this space. First of all, Andrew from Open Spatial. Can you tell us a little bit about yourself?
Ian, thanks for having me. So I'm the COO at Open Spatial, and I've been with the organisation for around about 6 years. Five of those years we've been on a bit of a transformation journey around the GIS space with the changing technologies that have been coming through in the various government sectors. Open Spatial provides geospatial engineering solutions that manages spatial data from survey through to design, construction, data management, and system integration. So, in a nutshell, that's myself, and a little bit about Open Spatial.
Great stuff. Thanks, Andrew. And KB, now I know, KB, that you're our leading architect in the asset management and maintenance space here at DXC. Could you tell us a little bit about your recent experiences and your background in general?
Yes, thanks, Ian, and thanks, Andrew, for the introduction. So I'm basically specialist in Oracle Cloud maintenance area, alongside with the other supply chain, and I'm with DXC for last 2.5 years. Did a couple of implementations, and it is quite interesting to showcase like how Open Spatial is integrated with Oracle Cloud maintenance. So would love to showcase that functionality.
Right. And my name is Ian Granger. So I'm a cloud transformation director for DXC. And I've been with DXC for the last year. And before that, I spent quite a large part of my career with Oracle. But really looking forward to showing you what we've been able to achieve recently in terms of connecting spatial data and the typical information that you might find in an asset maintenance system. But Andrew, at this point, I'll just hand back to you, and I'll let you run along with the first part of our presentation. Would you like to tell us a little bit more about what Open Spatial is all about?
Thanks, Ian. So yes, Open Spatial's, as mentioned, we do provide those spatial geospatial engineering solutions that traverses the entire workflow from survey right through to design certification. So our software and solutions bridge the gap between CAD, GIS, and asset management systems, whilst providing advanced spatial analytics such as network tracing and impact analysis based on the spatial information that's contained within the GIS itself. We have a strong focus now on some of the emerging trends and technologies that are coming through, such as digital twin and AI, and recognise that the government at this stage is spending huge amounts of money in the digital twin space and the subsequent platforms. As an example, the DTV in Victoria, which has had a $39 million investment. So if I can just get you to flick over the slide. Thanks, Ian. So our geospatial suite comprises of Munsis, Enlighten, and ACDC, and essentially that supports that end-to-end workflow from survey right through to design certification and the analytics that go in behind that. We've very much been aligned with Oracle for many years, 20 plus years, and we harness the spatial database from Oracle, which is recognised as still the most advanced spatial database available on the market. Thanks, Ian.
Great stuff. So as I said just there at the start, certainly from KB and my perspective, we're very used to working with asset management systems and work order management and maintenance systems that are very data intensive, but it's always a challenge for our customers to kind of bridge that gap when they're working with assets that are broadly distributed, that are in fact spatial assets such as pipes, paths, road surfaces, all that type of thing. So what we want to show you today is an approach that we've taken to connect these types of data sources together. How can we link our asset management and maintenance data with the spatial data that we need to do a good job handling those linear assets? So Andrew, once again, I'll hand back to you right now. I think we've got a demonstration for our audience today.
All right, thanks, Ian. One of the key challenges between asset management and geospatial systems is the management of the positional accuracy within the asset management system itself. So what we've done with DXC is that we've done two things. One is that we've enabled a 3D representation of the spatial data within DXC's platform, so the Oracle Cloud Asset Management System. And then we've also got the link back across to Open Spatial's geospatial suite so that we can update directly from that particular platform. So we'll go in and we'll have a look at this particular example here. Traditionally, in an asset management system, any positional accuracy or position, geospatial position, is just recorded with a latitude, longitude, and the asset manager or engineer would essentially just accept that that is the correct position. By embedding the map and showing this spatial information, we've given the user a 3D representation of the GIS information, which has been made available. And you can see here that for this particular instance, we have the assets, which are access chambers, so traditionally or previously called manholes. And you can see those locations within the network there. This particular rectangle here essentially is a representation of where the asset management system has positioned that particular access chamber. So we can see obviously straight away that that's not correct. So there is a need then to be able to change that position. So there's two ways of doing that. The asset manager could go in and update the latitude and longitude, which is quite a laborious process. Or in this particular instance, what we will do, we'll switch across over to Enlighten. Enlighten is Open Spatial's web-based GIS system that you can do advanced analytics, things like network trace. So if you were to switch a valve or close a valve on a water network, you're able then to do the analysis to see which particular properties are impacted off, and that information can be shed back into the asset management system itself or into the customer experience system. Other things that can be done in that particular platform is things like redlining, etc. But in this particular instance, what we'll do is we'll deal with that asset that is in the incorrect position. So we'll click on that asset. We'll click on move for that asset. I don't have snapping on, but for this particular instance, it will be fine just for us to reposition that asset there. We'll click apply. The map will refresh. And then we've repositioned that asset to its correct location. So that is essentially writing directly back to the Oracle database, and it's also pushed that information back to the asset management system in the cloud. So let's just cancel out of that because that's an edited session. We'll click back on this asset. And what we'll see here is that the coordinates have changed based on that update. And if we go into that visualization, we're able to see there in 3D that that is now in the correct position. So that really does help both the asset engineer and the GIS professional to locate that asset correctly. Thanks, Ian.
Yeah, thanks, Andrew. That's a really great example of what we can achieve in terms of positional accuracy. And KB, I might hand over to you at this stage just to take the audience through how we actually did that in the Oracle Maintenance Cloud solution.
So we used Sandbox to include GIS page, which Andrew has showcased, to our asset page. We created this sandbox. When we are into the sandbox, we'll go to that asset detail page where we want to add the GIS page. So it is not a complex process. It is very simple two-step process. So when we are on the asset, so this is the placeholder where we included our map on the asset detail page. So we simply need to go into the page composer. And so this is the content which is added here. We go to the structure. And then we go into the edit mode. So this is the page which we have added, the web page. And if you look at the properties for this page, so basically what we are doing, we are passing the URL web.openspatial.com. And the key is the asset ID, because when we move from one asset to another asset, right? We want to pass the asset ID to the URL. So we are using this binding variable for asset ID as an input value. So this is the only thing which we need to do. And when we publish this sandbox, we do see this page on the asset detail page. So it is a pretty simple process to add this page.
Yeah, it looks simple, KB, and indeed you make it look simple because obviously you're expert in these areas, but these are standard features of the Oracle Fusion platform. So I think that any customer with a little bit of support and some technical competency would be able to pretty much achieve the same outcome with their platform. So we've seen a really great example about getting that spatial perspective into our asset maintenance system. And I'm just thinking, Andrew, a little more broadly than that. Is there any way that we can work with this type of solution in the context of work order management, or maybe preventative maintenance planning and things like that?
Absolutely, Ian. So what we have done, and to address the advent of digital twin that's coming through by being able to visualize that in 3D, we've also identified that quite often it's a requirement for the GIS editor to update the information that's in the asset management system without having a duplicate sitting in the GIS itself. So let's have a look at a default maintenance work order that's available in the GIS. We'll go into the asset management system. We'll have a look at the work orders that are available for us for this particular asset, so RS-03. We'll go and have a look at this particular work order. We see here an attribute on the details for the type. At the moment, set as preventive. The GIS editor has come through and realised that this is no longer preventive, that it is actually corrective. So they'll click on corrective here, click on apply. That will then update. That's a live update then to the asset management system itself. And you can see there that is now corrective. So that's an example of being able to update the asset management system directly from the web browser for the GIS. Another example of that, though, is the actual creation of a work order operation itself, and bypassing some of the clicks that you would have to do in the asset management system itself, just by interacting with the 3D map that is available within the asset management system here. So let's just go back into that asset. I'll wait for the map to load, and what you'll see here is again we adjusted that geospatial entity. We'll just drill each of these particular access chambers. You can see the full GIS information there, the geographic identifier, the node ID, the node depth, node cover, elevation, etc. So that's excellent information for reference. But what we've also enabled is that the representation itself, we'll click on this guy here. You'll notice that a button up the top here for create work order operation has been added for this particular feature itself. So if we click on that, what that will do is create a work order operation from scratch. So let's click on this guy. We'll get a notification here saying that an embedded page is saying that it's essentially set it up with work order sequence number 60. So let's click OK on that guy, and let's go and have a look at that work order operation. So we'll go back to the work orders, our example, RS03. Click on this guy here. And the unique identifier that was created was 60. So that has gone through and set up a work order operation. So that's reduced quite a number of clicks there. And there's further refinement that can be done from that interface as well. One of the key advantages of doing that is the fact that you're able to spatially visualize what you're actually working with and its actual location. So it's we believe that's quite a benefit for the asset engineer.
Yeah, I think that's really important, Andrew, and I'm sure it would be no stretch to pass the spatial details to that operation as well, so that the individual in the field who's doing that work can have that as a point of reference on the work order operation itself. Well, thank you, Andrew. I think that was a really compelling demonstration of how we can extend these scenarios around assets and also around the maintenance process. So what did we see today? Just to sum things up, we looked at how we can link together our spatial information with our maintenance system information to enable that positional accuracy for our assets. We looked at how we can streamline some of our maintenance procedures as well. So getting into that work management area where we can identify those assets on a map and actually generate the work order from the work order operation from the map as well with a few simple clicks. And KB showed us how we can achieve this integration in an easy and standardized way. And that was using some simple page personalization features, as well as some APIs that both the Oracle Fusion platform and the Open Spatial platform make available. So at this stage, gents, I'd like to say thank you very much for your time. I think it's been a great presentation of this capability. And I'd like to say thank you to our audience for watching. We hope you've enjoyed this presentation of Oracle Maintenance Cloud and Open Spatial working together to better manage your spatial assets. If you'd like to connect with any of us individually, feel free to reach out via LinkedIn. And you can also connect with us via either the DXC channel or the Open Spatial channel. So again, thank you for watching, and we look forward to catching up with you in the future. Bye for now.